All right, there we go. Hello. Hello. Can I be heard? Let me move this closer. Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Say yes or no. Can you hear me? Yes. Is the audio better than usual, or is it bad like it usually is? Because I'm using my mic this time instead of my computer audio, but then again, it is still a live stream. Welcome back to another live stream where I have to eat during it because, you know, life just is crazy and I'm tired. The chat is insane. Hey guys, so are people in here that have not seen Endgame? If you have not seen Endgame, you gotta know I'm gonna spoil it. If you have not seen Endgame, here, I can pin a thing, right? Hold on. Hold on. I'm making sure that everyone who comes in here will know that this will be a spoiler. If I can grab my own chat, quit moving. There we go. Wait, how do I pin something? Hi, I'm new. Never mind. I don't know how to do it. This is remove. Never mind. Okay, I don't know how to pin something. Yeah, I literally just, I didn't know. I thought you could pin something to like tell people, hey, I'm gonna spoil it. Leave me alone. Well, okay, sorry, Caesar, but some people care about spoilers like me. That's why, even though I had no time to go see the movie, I'm in the middle of not only finals, but getting my senior project ready to present, which is made me cry enough as it is. I had no time to go and see it, but I still made myself go see it because I was so scared it was going to get spoiled for me. Because it was like every week, like I just couldn't get on the internet at all. Which I should honestly have just not seen it so I wouldn't get on the internet, but now I'm free and I can waste time on Instagram again. Yay. Okay, so looks like we've started the spoilers, so I can get into it a little bit. Let's talk about what doesn't depress me first. Wait, what? She has bangs, so we'll be able to tell if I did have what? What? I can show you my forehead. What are you talking about? I'm not hiding anything. Except for the fact that I only put makeup from here down. I don't put makeup on my forehead. Oh, hey, Jewel. I should have added you as a admin. Can I do that still? Yeah. Everybody who's a Patreon gets to be an admin. Or not an admin, a moderator. Whatever the words are. I don't care. Yeah, okay, so some things that aren't depressing is Bucky is, with all, 30 seconds of screen time is great. We and my brother were just talking about how great it was when obviously like Doctor Strange opens up the portal and like literally everyone comes back and everyone's screaming. In the theater, I was screaming, everyone was screaming. I had my hands up like I was on a roller coaster. I was just yelling, watching everyone come back, and not just everybody who disappeared, but it was like seeing all of like Wakanda just come through a freaking portal. I'm like, if for the first time it was like you go from the first Avengers movie where it's literally 6 of them trying to fight off this huge army of things floating into New York, and then you go to the last Avengers movie, God, that hurts to say, the last Avengers movie where they're equally matched, where it's like just as many Avengers and fighters on this side, if not more, than the bad guys. But I have some questions. Again, I'm avoiding anything that makes me cry, which is anything around Tony. So Yeah, so here's a confusion I have. Thanos in the end is past Thanos before Infinity War happened. He hadn't actually accumulated all the stones yet. So how is it that when Tony snapped his fingers and made Thanos disappear, that it didn't just reverse everything? But then again, it just would have been an endless cycle of like, well, Tony wouldn't have had to reverse it if it never happened, but but it still had to happen, or else otherwise he wouldn't have gotten destroyed. You know? Like, you can't change the past. But that's just it, is the Thanos was from the past. And also, I forget her name. People are gonna get mad at me. Gamora's sister. What was her name? Nova? She killed her past self, and her future self was still alive. So Nebula, sorry. I don't know anything. Nebula, thank you. I'm tired, okay? Um, yeah, she kills her past self, so it's like, wouldn't her future self disappear? I don't know. I grew up watching Doctor Who, so in Doctor Who, that would have happened. If you kill someone in the past in Doctor Who, their future self ceases to exist. So, I feel like the Doctor knows a thing or two about time, but that's just a different canon, I suppose. It makes a new future. So, is there a new future where Tony is alive? Because Infinity War never happened, so Tony's still alive? That would be nice. Yes? Is there a future where Tony's still alive? I have to believe it. Because when I say that I cried 5 times, I'm not kidding. I don't remember all the times I cried, like, specifically what happened when I was crying, but I know, of course, I cried when Natasha I I cried when Natasha and Clint were fighting over who was gonna go over the cliff. And then I subsided for a minute because it cut to something else, and then it came back. And then I cried when it looked like Hawkeye was going to go over the cliff. And then when she stops him, I'm crying. And then she falls, and I'm crying. And it jumps back, and everyone's like back in the room, and I'm still crying, and they're trying to move the story along. And I'm like, but wait, I'm still mourning the loss of this character because Black Widow was slept on. Black Widow and Hawkeye were slept on. You heard it here first, kids. That's the tea. That's the tea. Natalie did deserve better, as did Hawkeye. Even though I'm a little mad at Hawkeye for just like not even showing up for Infinity War, or I think Civil War. He just didn't fight, so a little mad about that. But anyway, they're slept on. So yeah, they deserve better. Someone told me that they're gonna make a Black Widow movie still, and I was like, but why? And they're like, it's a prequel. It's gonna be like a movie about her before everything happened. I'm like, why bother making a movie like that when we already know what happens to her? Like, I've never understood prequels, like, especially when I know the character is gonna die and how they die. I'm like, well, like, great, thanks for their backstory, but it's just gonna end on like, oh, I know that they die a horrific death, with really no positives other than like, I guess they brought back 50% of the population, but at what cost? At the cost of my favorite Avenger ever, favorite person. And like, like, I get it. I get I mean, Doctor Strange said there's only one possibility, and that was so intense when they're in the middle of the fight and Doctor Strange just looks at Tony and just holds up one finger. And when he does that and Tony's looking at him, I'm like, no, no. Like, that was when I started piecing together something bad was about to happen, when he specifically looks at Tony and he just gives him like the one chance. And dang it. And so when I was figuring out what was about to happen. Sorry, I'm choking. But it's like, I get that must have been the only way they would ever win. That was the only possibility. But I just think about how Thor gets a happy ending. So is like the story of Thor going to continue because he's now with the Guardians of the Galaxy? Do we get to keep Thor now still? And then Captain America gets to live the life he always wanted to live, which like should have been impossible, but because of all this whatever, Steve got to go back in time to return all the stones, and then he just stayed. He just stayed with Peggy, he just stayed with her and got to like have their little slow dance and get married and live a long happy life and like screw that. So they find him and he's like an old man and he's gonna die a happy old man. And then Hawkeye gets to go back to his family. Like everyone else gets a happy, and then I don't know what happens to Hulk. I don't know where Banner goes, but like we assume Banner's fine. So it's like everyone else gets a happy ending except for Tony and Natasha. And like here's the thing. Natasha's death hurt, like for sure. Like for sure. But the thing about Tony's death is Tony has not had peace since the first Avengers movie. Okay? The first Avengers movie happens, and then he legitimately has PTSD from that. Okay? So, first Avengers movie, everything's crazy, and then Coulson dies, so he like feels guilt for that because Tony blames himself for everything. And then he's also the one to sacrifice himself. Don't we remember? He thought he was gonna die, and he was like, okay, well, I have to die. Tony's the glue, okay, that held together the Avengers. He was always the one, like, Captain America was like, are you willing to put yourself on the line? And then Tony ends up, like, being the only one that's ever actually almost died and then died in order to save the world. So, like, fight me, Captain America. But anyway, yeah, justice for Tony. So, Tony had the weight of already losing Coulson and feeling like that was partially his fault. And then he also, so he had PTSD from that. And then we move on to Civil War, and he finds out that Bucky killed his parents and that his best friend Cap is defending the man who killed his parents. And he also like agrees with the government with like they need some things set up, and like Captain America is kind of blinded by his emotional attachment to Bucky. And then Age of Ultron, I don't even remember most of what happened in that movie, but it traumatized him because he saw everybody dead in like a vision. And then obviously Infinity War, more trauma, because he had to watch Peter Parker disappear out of his hands, and that was like his son basically. So like the man has not known peace. We can argue that like, well, Tony sort of had peace during that 5 years with his daughter. False, okay? False, because yeah, he had 5 years where he got to be married to Pepper and have a daughter. But even during that 5 years, 50% of the population was still missing from their failure at the Infinity War, okay? So even during that 5 years, he can't be fully at peace because there's still 50% of the population missing. Everywhere you go, there's freaking memorials set up with all the names of people who've disappeared. Like, that still is hurting him. Like, Tony doesn't have the best coping mechanisms. We know this. So, like, Tony has never known peace. And then he dies without ever knowing peace. I'm so dehydrated that I can't cry, but know that my throat's closing up. Like I want to cry, but I'm out of tears. I'm out. Because I've already cried about it again today. I cried during the movie. From the moment I figured out Tony was going to die, I cried all the way to the end of the credits. So that was like good 30 minutes that I just cried and like shaking. Like I hate when people are like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking, when they're not. They hold up their hand and it's like their hand looks like this and like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking. Or they make it look like it's shaking. Stupid. I was legitimately curled up in my seat. I had a jacket covering my mouth so that like no one could hear me, and I was just like my whole body was just vibrating because I was so upset. I love getting so involved with fictional characters and letting myself just be destroyed by that. But anyway, Tony has never known peace. And I'm literally looking up t-shirts. I don't want to get another tattoo because that's a little crazy. But I'm definitely going to buy a t-shirt for like Iron Man and like rep it and be like, no, Iron Man's still alive in my heart. What happened to Gamora? Exactly. They were able to take past Gamora and bring her into the present timeline. And then now she's just back, which that's great. So can we do that with or can we do that with Natasha, Black Widow? No. Can we do that with Tony? No. Just go get him from a past timeline, bring him up. Like, see, that's why I'm just refusing to believe that Tony's dead. Like, maybe they had to like fake the funeral or something, but like they could have just gone back in time and just like picked Tony up from like a little bit before Infinity War and just be like, hey, we're just going to stick you here now, because apparently that doesn't affect the future. So, Thanos broke the time travel. No, because Ant-Man's been able to time travel. Ant-Man and his weird van. Gamora is back. Did you watch the movie? She's not like the same Gamora. She's a past version of herself, but she's Gamora. And Loki's still dead. I was hoping they were gonna resurrect him, but no. I don't think she was missing. I think she's still there. Confession to make, I've actually never seen the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp. I know I should, but I didn't see it. But she didn't need to be sent back to the past. That's the thing, is apparently you can change the past and it won't affect the future. So they could just... No, that's just it. You said if they swipe Natasha, she won't be able to sacrifice herself. But that's false. Because they were able to bring freaking Thanos back from the past and kill him and still have Infinity War happen. Even though he died before it happened. Loki's alive because of the Tesseract when he's... So there's an alternate reality where Loki's still alive. There's an alternate reality where Tony and Natasha are still alive. There's an alternate reality where everything's okay and everyone I love is still alive and happy and at peace. And that's... I'm just... Basically, this is a live stream of me me confessing that I will not accept canon. You can tell me what's canon, and I am refusing to believe it, and I am taking my own vision on it because, you know what? No, there's an alternate reality where they're still alive and they're happy, and Tony finally gets some counseling and peace, and he still has Pepper, and he still has his daughter, and he gets to live a long, happy life, and is free of guilt and sadness because Spider-Man's still alive, and Captain America is his friend again because they work things out in counseling, in couples counseling. But yeah, freaking, like, Hawkeye was like, my number one priority is getting my family back from the Thanos snap. Like, okay, you and everyone else. And then, like, Tony's like, my number one priority is just, like, literally keeping what I have. I have to come back to my family alive. And that didn't happen for him, so I'm pissed. Yeah, and Fat Thor. Here's my thoughts about Fat Thor. Like, it was a funny gag in the beginning. I had a really bad theater experience. The people in my theater sucked. I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, There were at least 4 literal infants in strollers in the theater. I'm like, this is a 3-hour movie of, like, explosions and whatever. Why do people bring literal infants still breastfeeding to a 3-hour Avengers movie? Just friggin', if you can't get a babysitter, don't go. Wait until it comes out on Redbox. Or wait till you get a babysitter. So anyway, so there were literally 4 infants, and they would all randomly cry, or I could literally hear the one behind me suckling on a bottle, and I'm like, just pick it up, take it out. Which they eventually did move that one after the loudest exit ever, like bumping into everyone, like, and not even whispering, being like, oh, sorry, excuse us, sorry, we have a baby, sorry, like, shut up. And there were also this group of, like, 8-year-old boys behind me who I'm assuming, like, this was their first time their parents let them see a movie unsupervised because the parents didn't want to have to sit through 3 hours of a movie. So they talked the whole time. And I was like, okay, well, maybe once the movie gets louder, because the movie was really quiet. I don't know if it was just my theater or whatever, but the movie was just quiet. But I was like, maybe once explosions start happening, they'll shut up or I won't be able to hear them. No, explosions start happening and they just talk louder. And I, like, kept turning around and, like, literally giving them dirty looks and, like, shushing them, and other people kept shushing them and they didn't stop. And I was just like, I'm not going to get up and go, like, find someone to kick them out because, like, I don't want to miss the movie. But it's like, I paid, like, close to $20 to be here and am purposefully missing time I could be working on something I need to graduate to see this movie. And these 8-year-old boys think they're better than everyone. So that's great. I hate children and I'm never having them. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm still hungry, so I'm going to eat some more. I hated the Fortnite reference. That was the worst, because it made the 8-year-old boys so happy and they started cheering and they wouldn't shut up about Fortnite for like a good 10 minutes after that. They're like, oh, look, he's playing Fortnite. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Can you do the Fortnite dance? Can you floss? Is he going to stand up and do the Fortnite dance? Like, shut up. I hate Fortnite just because of children. I hate it. Never played it, but just because of how obsessed literal children are with it. I hate it. I've just decided that I hate it, so that's great. Um, and then there's something else I wanted to respond to. Hold on. Yeah, when Tony died, my theater was pretty quiet. Even the 8-year-old boys got quiet for like a minute, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh, is he gonna die?" Like, no freaking duh! Shut up! I'm crying over here. Oh, and the dab. The dab was cringy. That was cringy. Yes, Captain America getting the hammer was like the highlight of the movie. On Thor being like, "I knew it." That was incredible. I loved that. I loved Cap getting the hammer because like Thor was right. Like it makes sense. But I loved when Cap gets the axe and Thor's like, can we switch?" When everyone showed up, what did you think? What would any normal person think? I screamed. Of course. I think I was on a roller coaster. Had my hands in the air. I was screaming. I was so excited. I said this earlier in the stream. I guess this was like early in the stream. Where it was like not just like all the Avengers showing up, but it was like literally the whole country of Wakanda coming in. I was like, "Oh my god." Okay, so Fat Thor. I had thoughts about Fat Thor. I was mad about Fat Thor because like it was a funny little gimmick in the beginning, but it just stayed. And it stayed for 3 hours and I'm like, "So we're not going to fix this. We're not going to like they're really going to do my boy Thor that dirty and like make him stay ugly for like that's how he goes out is like the nasty beard and like the dreadlocks like okay, but the beard and like the gut and stuff, it was just I mean, really? Like, I get in the beginning, like, you're showing that he went through a hard time, but then, I don't know, some Asgardian magic's something. He's an Asgardian. He doesn't, like, whatever. He probably burns calories faster than we do, since, like, he can drink a ton of beer and not get drunk as quickly as, like, we do. So, I'm just like, can we just fix that with Thor so people because like again the 8-year-old boys behind me would laugh literally anytime he was on screen. I'm like, it's not this is a serious moment. Like quit laughing at the fact that he's fat. Like that's body shaming. Like ugh. It was stupid. It was just like it was fine, but it was just like maybe again it was my theater, like the theater I was in, people just kept laughing anytime he was on screen. I'm like, we get it. He gained some weight. Let's stop laughing about it. Are you kidding me about this? Like, it's not that funny, okay? It was funny in the beginning because it was, like, a shocker, and you're like, "Oh, whoa, he got fat," but then, like, after that, let's leave it alone. Let's forget it happened, thanks. Thor and his mom was sweet. I choked up, I didn't cry, but I got close. I choked up when Tony met his dad. What was the Build-A-Bear comment? I just saw the movie last night, so I'm, like, out of it. Anytime I saw Loki, I was like, "Yes." Loki showed up for, like, 0.2 seconds, and he was just laying down. But okay. Oh, no, he showed up again when they went back to New York. Okay, yeah. But Loki didn't have a lot of screen time. Question. So, did they film I'm not like this is a conspiracy. Hey, what's up you guys? Yes, welcome back to another conspiracy video. Um, did they film stuff for Endgame way back when they were first filming the first Avengers? I'm serious because when they go back in time to like to New York, everything looks exactly the same. Like, it doesn't look like they had to, like, recreate it. It looks exactly the same, and, like what? Oh. It looks exactly the same, like, it doesn't look like they had to, like, CGI their faces or put makeup on to make them look younger. Because like, Tony looks so much different now than he did in the first Avengers movie. They look the exact same. Everything sounds the exact same. It's like, how on earth? It really looks like they filmed certain scenes way back then and then just held on to them till now because it just seemed it was too seamless, I guess, which is good. I mean, yeah, great production and design. So if they didn't do that, I mean, that's incredible because it really was seamless. I didn't see a single thing out of place that I was like, that looks slightly different. Like, because I would have noticed it. I've seen um, The Avengers so many times because it was my favorite movie all through high school. I loved The Avengers because it was a movie that ended on a happy note, not with killing everyone I love. So that's great. Um, so it was incredibly done because it was very seamless. It really felt like they were back in time because it wasn't like, oh, I can tell they reshot this because I can see some gray hair in Tony's beard, or I can tell this is redone because the blood isn't in the exact same spot on their forehead. Like, yeah, the girl power scene was too short. They and I was annoyed because the 8-year-old boys behind me were like, "Ooh, girl power." I'm like, "Shut up, we get it." So I needed to see it again with a better crowd. But I can't see it again because I am exhausted. I need to like heal my soul before that, which is not going to happen. My soul is forever shattered from that because Tony is my favorite Avenger, has always been my favorite Avenger, no matter what. I think if it wasn't, I mean, I love Captain America. I love Thor. Thor was incredible, especially in like Thor, the Ragnarok, and then especially in Infinity War when he gets the axe. Like that was incredible. Like it was great. Um, but just Tony, it's like it's not necessarily the powers. Like Thor had really cool powers, and Captain America is like, you know, he's America's. He's got that. He's got that peach. You know what I mean? He's got that trunk. Got junk in the trunk. But oh, is it pronounced Ragnarok? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Whatever. There's so many movies, okay? Excuse me if I pronounce it the wrong way. But anyway, stop, you're gonna make me cry. Peter saying Mr. Stark. Stop. And he's like telling him we won, which is like honestly, Endgame is like almost a really good parallel to the first Avengers movie because it's Tony's sacrifice that saves everyone. And then Tony's like first question is like, did we win? Like, you think he's dead and he comes back and he's like, did we win? And so it was like Peter coming up to him and he's like, Mr. Stark, we won. Like, frick, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry on live stream. I'm not gonna be a YouTuber who cries, okay? I'm not gonna be a YouTuber who films herself crying. Because everyone else has. God, stop. Stop. Yeah, no. Tony, the fact, everything that happened with Tony, I will never heal from. There are certain dead characters I will never heal from. So that's one of them. Let's add that to the list. That's just freaking superb. I loved that. I loved losing my favorite character. I remember going into that movie and I would tell everyone, I was like, I can't lose Tony. I know that someone's going to die. I know that important characters are going to die. It might be Captain America. I thought they were going to kill Captain America for sure. But I was like, Tony's the one that's got to live. Out of all of them, Tony's the one that has to live. And Tony was the only one that died. Tony was the only one that died. I muted myself. Sorry about that. He was the only one that died. He was the only one I said they needed to keep alive, and he died. Just freak. I know Nat. I know I hated losing Nat. I loved Black Widow. Um, listen, Black Widow deserved better, but like, I know she died, but I'm saying that like, okay, I'm sorry, I forgot, but just I'm just saying Tony was the only one that I would not handle his death very well. Like I didn't handle Nat's very well, but I handled her death better than Tony. Yeah, they just like literally killed Nat. They gave her like a 5-second like zoom in on her dead body and then just moved on with the story. And I'm like still crying and they're trying to move on and go about their plan. I'm like, I'm still mourning the loss of this character. Can we give me a second? Um, but like Tony's death got dragged out, not only the dying process, but then the funeral, but then and like everything at the end was like had a taste of like Tony in it. And like him narrating everything at the end, everything had Tony just written all over it, even if he wasn't there. And it just Okay, so I guess the reason they didn't give Nat a funeral is because she's like on another planet. I'm depressed still. What do you think about Steve staying with Peggy? I mean, that's fine, but why does Steve get to stay with Peggy? And that doesn't like that would mean that he wasn't there for any of the Avenger fights, but apparently that doesn't change the future. So if that can happen, why can't Tony come back? Why can't Nat come back? Why can't anybody come back if that's allowed to happen? So I'm just annoyed, but like that's fine, good for him. They really did. They did Natalie dirty. They Black Widow and Hawkeye deserved better. How many times I gotta say it? I've been trying to find a I've been trying to find a T-shirt that has the original 6 Avengers on it, and I can't find one. Like they are so few and far between. They're almost non-existent. You can find plenty with only 4. You can find them with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk, and that's it. I'm like, you're missing 2. You're missing 2 of them. Everyone likes to pretend they don't exist, and just these 4 matter. That is false. Because if we remember, even in the first Avengers movie, Natalie was so important. She was the one that closed the portal to prevent all the other little things from getting into the earth. Like, she's smart. Like, people make jokes about her just with her little handguns, but she's brilliant and she fought off a lot of things, helped everyone in that scenario, and like she was able to bring Hawkeye back because Hawkeye was freaking out of his mind, and she was the only one that was able to like knew what to do to knock him out to get him back to normal. And then later she used to be the only one that could calm Hulk down so he wouldn't freaking destroy everything. Natalie's important. So, and then I would find shirts where they literally just like replaced Natalie with Spider-Man. Like they had Hawkeye on there, but then there would just be Spider-Man. I'm like, he wasn't there for the first like few movies. He wasn't there, so quit replacing her. Quit. Sorry, I'm saying Natalie. I'm sorry, I got her confused with the actress that plays Thor's girlfriend. Sorry. Natalie Portman. It's Natasha. I know. I know. I'm just really tired, okay? I think I'm literally trying to figure out how to graduate right now. The remembering everyone's name correctly is not high on my priority list. And I don't want to buy anything that has Thanos' nasty face on it because I hate him. So I can find shirts with like all the Avengers on it, but then it's like endgame and it has Thanos at the top. And I'm like, no, I don't want Thanos anywhere near me. I want him to die. I cried nonstop for the last 15 minutes. I've wanted to cry, but I think I'm too dehydrated. Sorry if you hear dogs barking. It's because I hate my dogs. Love that for me. Wait, are you talking about Tony still? I don't know what y'all are saying. When Thanos died in the first scene. Yeah, Thanos got to die twice, and I love that for him. He deserved it. What did you not expect? I didn't expect a lot. What was predictable? I don't know. Um, I mean, like some of the cheesy jokes I kind of saw coming, but nothing. I can't remember anything plot wise that I was like, oh, I know it's gonna happen. Um, Bucky got like what 30 seconds of screen time. Like he came back from the disappearance, and then we saw him for like 2 seconds, and then he was just gone. And then Cap left him to go be with Peggy. It's like, what happened to Bros Before Hoes? What happened to that, Cap? And someone talked about him fighting himself. That was pretty funny. I can do this all day. Yeah, I know. Why did Sam get the shield though? Because Captain didn't need it anymore. So I wonder if Sam's gonna like take his role. I don't know. By the way, does anyone remember this? I don't know if I am remembering this right or not, but when pretty sure when Captain America went back in time, someone went back in time and like stole like a few vials of something, and I'm pretty sure it was like what they used to make Captain America like make him the way he was. Pretty sure it was him. Like he stole. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was because they left like Hulk behind or something. They went back in time to get the Tesseract, and Tony was getting the Tesseract, and then the vials or something they like stole them, and I was like, is he gonna try to reverse him getting like beefed? Because when he was an old man, he wasn't that scrawny kid. It was for time travel. Oh, so they just got more time travel thingy majiggers? There's a lot going on here. Sorry. Bucky should have gotten the shield. Where was he? I don't even remember seeing Bucky after he came through the portal. He just went on with his bad self. Also, Nat was the only one holding the Avengers together. Even when Tony bowed out, she was the glue that held them together. She deserved better. She deserved so much better. I love her, and I would die. I would die for her. I would die for Tony. Um, yeah. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I would die for her. She held everything together. She was the only one that like stayed in that little office and like tried to keep everything organized and like tried to get them to work together to figure this out when everyone else was being like, nah, we're never gonna accomplish it. Nah. She was like, well, we have to try. So that's my girl. That's my girl. I love her. But I can't afford another shirt. I need to buy another shirt with just Black Widow on it. I love her. Carol, okay. Carol was boring. Okay, I'm gonna say it now. First, okay, I never saw Captain Marvel because I didn't have time to see Captain Marvel before Endgame, so I had to choose. Like, I can't afford 2 movie tickets, but I can afford one. So I went and saw Endgame. Um, and I was like, I'll figure it out as it goes. And she was like just conveniently there when they needed her, and then just not there. She'd just randomly show up and like save the day and then just disappear again. I'm like, why don't you just stick around a little longer? Like, oh, I have some other planets to take care of. Like, okay, Carol, but this is like the war zone numero uno, and you're off doing whatever the heck you're doing, and then you just randomly show up with like this stoic face. Like, I get they were trying to make her a strong female character, but she wasn't a strong female character. She was just like boring. She was flat. She was a flat character. She had like nothing that you could connect with her on, nothing to like make you interested in her. Not that she has to be funny or witty or whatever, but she was just very like flat. And maybe Captain Marvel is a great character, but I don't like whoever played her because they were just boring, really. And then they just would randomly show up. Um, and then, you know, like, I'm glad she saved Tony. That's great. I'm glad she did the things she did, but like, can you come back around to fix some other things? Um, oh, thank you for your super chat, the Bessie Nessie. Hi, since you won't reply to my Insta DM, might as well show my support here. Love your vids. Sorry if I don't respond. I get a lot of them, and I'm a very tired person, so I just like if it's a request one, sometimes I just don't check them. I'm sorry. I try to check them, but I forget. And then sometimes I don't know how to respond, so I just don't respond. But it's not that I don't appreciate it, it's just I don't know how to respond to stuff. Yeah, her personality was dead and boring. She was just bland. And I lost viewers, and that's fine because like she was so powerful that like she could have fixed everything. So they knew that, which is why they had to like say that she had to go fix stuff in another planet. But screw that. No. Yeah, she was off saving other planets, but, like, the war zone was here. Like, that was the worst of the worst. Like, I know that they're missing 50% of their people, but, like, so come here to fix that, because you can't fix it over there. You can only fix it over here where Thanos is. Just tired of her. I don't like her. But maybe I would have liked her if I saw her movie. I just thought she was, like, too meh. Eh. Yeah, like, she destroyed a ship, like, she was great, but it's like, "Could you come, like, 5 minutes earlier? Thanks." Honestly, okay, I get that, like, there was only one possibility in 14 million or billion where they win, but I think there were 2, and I think the second possibility, the first one would be Tony dying, which is the worst. The second would be if freaking Captain Marvel came just, like, 5 minutes earlier and destroyed the ship and then just, gave Thanos a good right hook. The end. The end. They win. What else you want? That's just yeah. What about Loki? Opinions? Like what? He wasn't in the movie, but for like 2 seconds and it was old Loki. I loved Loki. I hate that he died, but I'm just saying that like out of everyone that died, no, it wasn't a good summary. A good summary would be Tony living happily ever after with Pepper and his daughter and just like basically what he had during the 5-year span, but like forever. That would be the way to wrap it up because Captain America gets that. He gets a good family. Um, Hawkeye gets a good family, happily ever after. Thor gets to go travel with the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. Wakanda, I don't really know what they're up to, but they're back to normal. So it's like, why is Tony the only one that has to lose literally everything after years of trauma and not knowing peace? And then he dies. And that's the tea. That's the veggie burger. That's what I'm eating. People keep asking what I'm eating. It's a veggie burger. False. Hulk handled the stones. Just use the other arm, Hulk. Oh, I got a super chat. I'm so sorry. Um, Lil D Ballin 86. Good luck on graduation. Thank you. I need it. I am suffering. It's going rough, but it's okay, I guess. No, it's bad. And another one from Bessie Nessie. Cap's my favorite. So I'm glad he's got his happy ending. I'm good for you. I'm glad your favorite character got to live happily ever after with the love of his life. Mine died. Mine died. So good for I'm sorry. I'm just being extra. I'm not actually like mad at you, but low key I am mad about Tony dying, and I always will be. He would it weakened him, but like his other arm was fine. Banner could have done it just with the other hand. Wait, hold on. Captain Marvel's freaking powerful as ever. Why couldn't she have just put the thing on and snapped her fingers? Why couldn't Captain Marvel do it? She would have survived. No? Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. Am I wrong about that? Why couldn't Captain Marvel snap? She wasn't there. Well, she should have been there. Carol wouldn't have died. She wouldn't have died if she's this almighty like goddess whatever. She could have done it and lived. Thor and Carol would have survived. You're right. So why couldn't they do it? She was knocked out? No. Thought she was then where was Thor? Thor could have done it. Or Hulk with his other hand. Or wait, Black Panther, his like suit absorbs any like shock to it and just like reverberates the shock out. Why couldn't Black Panther do it? Because it shouldn't have hurt him. His suit is like super crazy cool. Wouldn't, like, the shock of the stones just, like, absorb into his suit and then just, like, you know? Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Tony didn't have to die, that's fake news. Nerdiness is nothing but consumerism. Fine, I don't care, I'm having fun. I'm crying, 50% of the time, but it's fun, let us live, shut up. You're not better than us. You're on YouTube, that's part of consumerism, you're consuming my content right now. So, thanks for that. Oh, my rest of my food's cold, whatever. Tony didn't have to die. I just gave y'all, like, what, 4 different ways Tony could have lived, and everyone could have lived, and no one's been able to, tell me different. Thanks. There was only one way. That's just okay, great, but false. Yes, Black Panther could have done it. Black Panther could have done it because of his suit. You're right. Yeah, it was part of Tony's suit, but he could have like taken that part off with the Infinity Stones and been like, "Here, Black Panther, you won't die. Can you do this? Can you snap your fingers for me?" And he could have been like, "Sure, thanks." Snap. Oh, that didn't feel good, but my suit absorbed it, so now I can just give a good old punch to Thanos, even though he's about to disappear. But like, he deserves it anyway, so just give him another punch before he dies. Just No, I don't care what Doctor Strange says. I don't care what Benny Weevil cucumber in a cape says. I don't care. I don't trust a man. The only man I trust is Tony Stark, and he's gone. He is the true stop. Tony is the true definition of a hero. Stop. When Thanos vanished, what were you thinking? I was thinking, thank God, and then I was thinking, wait, if that's past Thanos, then that means that other Thanos didn't commit the crimes of Infinity Wars. Maybe Tony's gonna live, and I was wrong. So, just more heartbreak and more crying for me. Thanks. I've already talked about Captain America getting Thor's hammer. I think it's awesome. If you've missed like the first part of this live stream, just go back and watch it. I talked about all that already. I wish Thanos suffered more. Yes. Yes. 1,000% yes. 1,000%. Wish that before when everything calmed down and everything else disappeared, they should have just pummeled him and like just keep beating him up until he disappeared, just so he got to suffer a little more. Who had good intentions? Thanos? False. Gamora's back. I'm losing people in the stream. That's because I don't see any interesting chats yet. I also haven't seen anybody complaining about me asking for super chats. You're welcome. Luckily, I've been able to keep up with this one for the most part. Hold on. Stop it. I want to. Sorry, I had to report somebody for spam. Yeah, his Gamora died, but she's still Gamora. She can still fall back in love with him. Are you mad at Star-Lord? Like, yeah, but yeah. Yeah, but I can forgive him. Even though I wonder if Star-Lord had just waited, like, 30 seconds to punch Thanos, if Tony would still be alive. That would be, great. Like, here's the thing, here's at the end of the day, here's my beef with it all, okay? Here's the thing. Um, is that I tweeted this earlier, and I didn't wanna, like, spoil anything, but there are better ways to resolve a character arc than death. Like, I get that death sometimes happens, but sometimes I think it's just used for the emotional aspect so that the audience is, like, has a big reaction, because it's more dramatic than just a happily ever after, like, Captain America or even Hawkeye. Hawkeye was, like, the most normal ending out of all of them. So here's the thing. Here's the dealio. There was a way. I know that they wanted a clean slate to start over and have new characters and new whatever. They wanted everything brand new, wanted a clean slate, so they wanted to put the old heroes to rest, or the not the old, the original heroes to rest. And I get it. I get why they want to do that. They didn't have to kill them. There are plenty of ways to resolve that storyline in a dramatic fashion without killing them. That's just the truth. Like, sorry, Stan Lee. Like, I love you and I respect you, but there are ways to write the ending of a character's story, the ending of their arc, without killing them. There are interesting ways to do it. There are sweet ways to do it. There are ways that don't necessarily involve death. I get that some had to die. I get that that is an inevitable part of life. Life has death, so um, that I agree that some characters can die, but I think that especially with the main ones, like your original 6 that everyone loved, like, I think there were ways to resolve their storyline and have a blank slate for the new incoming cast without trauma and death. And that's the T. The 5 stages of grief. Yeah, I'm still in the denial stage of grief, thanks. I'm in the denial and a little bit of anger. I was depressed last night and this morning. I'm going out of order. Yeah, the minute I saw Tony with a daughter, I was like, "Oh no. Oh no, something bad is gonna happen." I actually thought the daughter was gonna die. Oh, no one's talking about how cool it is that, um, Pepper got to fight in the end. Like, she got to wear a suit and fight. Like, that was so cool, I loved that. Wish I got to see more of that. Yeah, like, Nat's death, like, made sense. It was sad, but it's like I mean, that one really did have to happen. They had to get the Soul Stone. Part of me was like, "Okay, they need to get the Soul Stone. Why can't they just push the guy in the cloak off the cliff? That's a death." I mean, really, just push him off a cliff. But I think it's like it has to be someone you love or whatever. But I think that's false because Thanos pushed his daughter off a cliff, and there's no way he really loved Gamora, especially if he was willing to do that to her. So, I don't know about that. I think they could have just sacrificed any life and gotten the stone. So why didn't they just push that guy off the cliff? That was his favorite daughter. He may have liked her, but he didn't love her. You don't kill someone you love for the sake of glory and whatever. You just don't. Red Skull. Yeah, why didn't they just shove him off the cliff? There's okay, I know they said there was gonna be no, what is it? End credit scene. I remember hearing that there was gonna be no end credit scene, but of course, me and like a third of the theater waited around for it. But so yeah, there was no end credits scene, but at the very, very end, after all the long credits, you hear like the slightest sound of iron being hit. Like in the very first Iron Man movie when he's building his first suit in that cave and you hear like the chink, chink, like you hear that twice and then it's just silent and then it goes to like the end. So I was like, why did they do that? Why on earth would they do that other than to further prove that I'm right that Tony gets to stay alive in another reality. It has to be. It was him forging the suit. Yeah, so why did they put that in there? Were they just trying to further drive home the pain of losing Iron Man? Or were they trying to be like, "Hey, psst, it's okay. Like it's okay." You know, what like why else is that there? Thoughts on the new Hulk slash Bruce? It's odd, but I loved. Here's the thing: is I love the actor that plays Hulk. I'm forgetting his name at the moment, but I love the guy who plays Banner. And I loved when he gets astral projected out of his body and he's back to yeah, Mark Ruffalo and he's back to like his human self and he's like arguing. I love his human self. I love Mark Ruffalo and I miss him. So it's like cool that he found a way to not explode, but like that's the whole fun of the Hulk is watching him explode. So like I'm glad he's at peace and like doing yoga or whatever, but no, I miss just seeing good old Banner cuz I love Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, at least Hulk didn't die. He got to use the Infinity Gauntlet. Frick. I'm sure he's accurate in the comics, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. Just because it's canon doesn't mean I have to like it. Thanks. He can't really die as Hulk. Exactly. So why didn't he do the snap at the end and save Tony? I'm pissed. I'm pissed. No one can convince me that Tony needed to die. I'm always going to find a way to keep Tony alive in my mind. There's so many different ways he could have survived, and yet he didn't. So I'm pissed. Yeah, the boy at the end of the funeral for Tony, who was he? There was like a boy by himself. Who was that? Oh no, was that the boy that he helped in Iron Man 3? No. No. Was that him? Is that the same boy? Dang it, that hurts worse. No. Frick. God. No. I didn't recognize him. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's the worst. Tony was like his dad figure. Stop. Dang it. No, Robert Downey Jr. loved being Iron Man. He put up with it for this long. He was just as sad to stop doing it as we were to watch him go. Dang it. I'm freaking Oh, I didn't figure that out that Tony said Pepper never wears his stuff and then she was wearing the suit at the end. Love that. That boy's the new Iron Man, I think. No, I think he was just a sad boy to further drive the knife into my heart and twist it so that I just bleed more. My cat is licking his butt right now and it's loud and gross and I hate it. Really? Right now? I just Ow! Oh no. Oh, that didn't feel good. Mm. So does Thor get to stay because Thor's with the Guardians of the Galaxy and they're gonna do another Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so is Thor in that? And Nick Fury got like no he was literally just popped up at the end at the funeral. I like Nick Fury. I wish I got to hear from him a little more than just I didn't even hear from him. He just was there. That's cool. Same with I don't remember her name in the movie, but she's Robin from How I Met Your Mother. Thor has like at least 3 more movies left. What else could they say about Thor? Like his whole family's dead. He lost his country. He gave his title of king over to um the girl. I forgot her name. I'm so tired. He gave his title over to her. He's just on a ship with the dudes now. Um so the Valkyrie, yeah. So like what else is there with his story, I guess, other than being with the Guardians of the Galaxy? But like, come on, the Guardians of the Galaxy, They're just supposed to be like Quill, um, the raccoon, Groot. I know they have names, leave me alone. Gamora and Drax. That's supposed to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor, Rocket, yeah. Stop spoiling. The live stream is literally titled spoilers. So fight me. I gave y'all a warning. I don't want to spoil Endgame for anyone. That's the reason I went and saw it earlier um than I was supposed to because I was so worried it was going to get spoiled for me. Um so here we are. Thor's been turning toward comedy. I mean, yeah, that's great, but like I don't know what else they're going to do with him. There's like literally like Thor is Asgardian and there's no more Asgard. There's literally nothing left. Like, it just seems like Thor's storyline should have ended. Thor should have been the one to die. Like, I love Thor, I do, but like, he really did have nothing else. Tony still had a family and a daughter and like stuff to do, and Thor didn't. And like, I love Thor, I love him, and he probably would have survived anyway, so it's not like it matters. But, why didn't he do the at the end, you know? Just I'm not saying Thor wouldn't have died. Thor would have survived anyway. So it's like, why didn't Thor get to do it? And then if Thor died, it's like, well, at least he's not leaving behind like a wife and 3 children and a whole legacy. Well, he would leave behind a lot, but like, come on. Thor can't die because he's a god. Exactly. So give Thor the snap. Give Thor the gauntlet. And Banner can't die because Hulk can't die. Give them the gauntlet. Tony could have retired. Exactly. Like it was a good movie up until Tony died. That's the only thing. Like Tony's death ruined the movie for me. Like everything else was great until Tony died, and then I'm just that's it. I'm done. Tony did retire for like 5 years. He was happy with his daughter. And like if there was no more Thanos, then what do they have to fight off other than just like regular crime where his life isn't in danger? Like he could have kept working towards sustainable energy and like ending world hunger and stuff. Tony could have saved the Tony literally could have saved the world if he stayed alive. He could have come up with better he could have come up with better energy sources. He could have worked with Wakanda and like see how they run their whole thing and like bring some of that into the our world and like fixed so much and helped so many people. But no, they had to freaking kill him off for the shock factor. I'm mad. Mad. Thor is it getting another movie because he's asking too much money and Marvel isn't going to give it to him. Oh, okay, I don't get that. Robert Downey Jr.'s contract expired, so they had to kill off Tony. Thank you, Callie, for your super chat, but I disagree. He could have they just because his contract expired doesn't mean he had to die. Just means they could have put him in retirement. Like Stan Lee, the human being, died, and he still had a cameo in the end game. So if that can happen, why can't they keep Tony alive and just he retires happily ever after? We don't talk about him again. Let's move on to new people. Yeah, Cap's contract expired. They didn't kill him. I'm not really into Marvel. Then why you here? Why you here? I loved Scarlet Witch. I think she deserved better. I think she slept on. I wish we got to see more of her character besides just being a side character. I know people didn't like that she was like in love with. Sorry, I got scared by that thing just now. I know that like people didn't like her because she was in love with the robot, but like I loved her. She was cool. So screw anybody that doesn't like her. No, it was the end of the era, so someone had to die. False. False. End of an era just means you retire them. You didn't have to kill them. Vision. Yeah, she was in love with Vision. You didn't notice his cameo? It was very quick. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I know he was in a car, and it was like someone disrupted traffic, and he was like, "Hey, like, get out of the road," or something. It was very quick. Yeah. New Jersey? Yeah. Wait, are you sure it wasn't never mind. Anyway, so yeah, he had a very quick cameo. But it's like, if they can do that with someone who's already dead, then, like, they can keep characters alive. Thanks. When, in Captain Marvel, I didn't see it, so, 1, I'm assuming that, uh, Stan Lee had a cameo in that, but which, like, is there a movie where it says, like, in honor of Stan Lee, like, where they kind of give, like, a in honor of him because he died? Which movie was that in? If they did that, because I thought at the end of Infinity War, or at the end of, the Endgame, that they were gonna be like, "In honor of Stan Lee because he did," you know? It's in Captain Marvel. See, it should have been the Endgame because I didn't see Captain I feel like the Endgame is, like, the end of everything Stan Lee, like, kind of created, so they should have, like, honored him in that one more. But I'm also mad at him for killing my favorite characters, so, don't know about that. Okay, um, I think I yelled about the movie enough for now. I need to go work on my capstone a little more. My computer's gonna die. I want to watch Shane Dawson videos to make myself feel better. I know Stan Lee didn't write the script, but he wrote the comics, and I'm assuming Tony probably died in the comics, so it's Stan Lee's fault. Anyway, um, uh, something. Wait, Spider-Man: Far From Home, is that like when Spider-Man's in that alternate reality after the snap? He didn't write Infinity War. He wrote the comics though. No? Yeah. He wrote the comics. So in his comics, he wrote the death of Tony, so I'm mad about that. It's Stanley's fault. He may not wrote the movie, but he wrote the comic. Thank you, Scott, for your super chat. Nope, takes place after Endgame. So good. I'm gonna cry during that movie, no doubt. Exhausting. I'm exhausted. I cried all this week because I had a mental breakdown thinking I wasn't gonna be able to graduate college. I'm not exaggerating. I genuinely thought that. I was like, I can't finish this. There's no way I'm gonna figure it out. So I cried all this week. And then I cried in therapy Saturday morning. I don't remember why, but I did. And then, and then I cried all Saturday night watching the end game. I cried coming home, driving home from the end game. I came home. My mom asked how the movie was, and I started crying while telling her. And then I woke up this morning and FaceTimed my friend because she was asking me something about her like skin. And then she was like, "So what about Infinity War?" And I started crying, or not Infinity War. What about Endgame? And I talked about Tony. And I started crying. So I've cried so much this week. Um, Also, someone wrote this on Tumblr really quick. I'm gonna end this in a second, but really quick, someone wrote this on Tumblr, and it's like, or maybe it was Twitter. I don't remember. They're both kind of blending together with humor now. But someone made a really good point, and I think honestly, Marvel could have done this, but they were too scared to do it. They were too cowardly. So, Ant-Man, right? Ant-Man can get really tiny. So, you guys probably heard this. Why didn't Ant-Man get really small, go right up Thanos' butt, and then turn big and just explode Thanos from the inside out? Can you can you explain to me why that didn't happen? Because that would have ended it all, and no one would have died but Thanos. That's the tea. That's the tea. I didn't come up with that. I read that somewhere, but that could have happened. That could have happened. If Thanos can get his head chopped off, then he can definitely explode from the inside if Ant-Man crawls up there and turns big. Just saying. That wouldn't have killed Ant-Man, that would have killed Thanos. So, no one can give me a good reason why that didn't happen. No, they could have done that in the beginning. In, like, the first Infinity War, they could have had Ant-Man crawl up his butt and explode, and then he either would never have snapped, or if it was after the snap, they still could have had him crawl up the butt and explode, and then take the gauntlet, give it to Hulk, let Hulk snap, and then bring everybody back in happily ever after. Thanos, time for your colonoscopy. I don't care what Doctor Strange said, he's wrong. The Thanos theory. It's true. Okay, well, Ant-Man still came back for this movie. So why didn't Ant-Man come back for this movie? And then during the big fight scene, just like explode Thanos through the butt and then give the gauntlet to Hulk, let him snap, and then voila, we're or give it to Black Panther because we know that Black Panther's suit would have protected him. But Marvel wouldn't do that because they're too scared. Wait, what did Jules say? What if Doctor Strange is actually evil? I don't believe that. Wait, crap. What if Doctor Strange is evil? What if Tony could have lived and he freaking lied? The Ancient One was evil. Alright. I'm pissed. Um. Never. I don't trust, Benny Weevil. So, yeah. I don't trust him. Strange may not have been evil in the beginning, but he could have turned evil. If I tell you it won't happen, he could I don't. That's the tea. Oh, I hate that girl. Clint was not on a minority murder spree. He was killing bad guys. He was killing people in like the mafia, people selling drugs, people in sex trafficking. That's what he was doing. He was still slaughtering people and he needed to stop, but he was killing bad people, not just minorities. It just happens to be that like a lot of crime happens in those kinds of places. Just thanks for that. Um, okay. Yeah, Strange saved Tony in Infinity War just because he knew that Tony was gonna die later. I never said murder sprees are okay. I'm just saying he wasn't out just to kill minority people because he's racist. He was out to kill criminals regardless of their race. Okay. Yeah, during all of Hawkeye's mourning, he found time to get a literal sleeve tattoo. Those take a long time and a lot of money. Where did he get the money? And where did he get that time when he was supposed to be defeating crime? He's like, "Oh yeah, I have a good 5 hours today and then another 10 hours a month from now and hours after that and a good $3,000 to just get my whole arm tattoo just for the fun of it." Like, what was that about? Clint doesn't kill just for the heck of it. I can't cuss in my stream. He didn't kill just for the heck of it. He killed people who were doing bad things. Like the guy he killed in was it don't get mad at me, but was it China? The guy he killed no, Japan. Sorry, I meant to say Japan. I meant to say Japan. The guy he killed there was like the head of some kind of mob, like a crime thing. So like he was killing bad people. It's just killing anybody is hard. I mean, like if someone broke into my house and I like had to defend myself, I would still be like traumatized from killing them, even if they were trying to kill me, you know? Or if I, that's still a traumatizing thing. Yeah, it was Tokyo. I said Japan. I meant to say Japan. I just tripped up and said China, but I meant Japan. Okay. Um, I saw someone said they were new to my stream. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but I've been streaming for an hour and 16 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you for what? Okay, anyway, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening to me yell about Endgame and how sad I am. And I will try my best to save this for people who didn't get to watch all of it. If that doesn't work, sorry. I can't help it. It's just YouTube glitching. So, yeah. All right. Uh, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Wait, I gotta hold it up until I end it. Here we go.